Most people who dream about starting a business share the same fear. What if I risk everything and it doesn't work? And that fear is real. I have seen people lose their savings, their confidence, even their relationships when they jump in without careful consideration. But I've also seen people who have taken the time to stack the odds in their favor by testing their key assumptions before they make a big investment. And I want to actually tell you about three of them. The first one is Robin Taylor. Now, Robin had spent 15 years as a corporate trainer. Her job was to fly in, spend 2 weeks inside a struggling multi-million dollar business and whip it into shape. And she was actually pretty good at it. But then her company lost a major contract. And overnight, Robin lost the career she thought she was going to retire from. She found another role, but she didn't really like it. The work drained her, and she knew she wanted out. So when a longtime friend called her on a rough day and said, "Hey, what would you think about opening a business, a franchise with me?" She was vulnerable enough, or maybe open enough, to listen. Still, the stakes were high. As she contemplated this investment that her old colleague was talking to her about, Robin's investment was going to be a meaningful part of her savings. She'd never done anything like that before because it involved running a local shipping store. And so before committing, Robin decided she needed to test something important. So she negotiated with another franchisee in this franchise concept to work inside that owner's store for a week for free. That was going to give her the opportunity to see what the pace was like, what kind of questions the customers asked, what the rhythm of the day was. And she discovered she actually loved the work. That test drive gave her the confidence to say yes, not just to a business, but to the new daily job that she was going to be taking on. Second client I want to talk to you about, his name is Spiro Egdos. Spiro had spent decades in corporate America with FedEx and IBM. And when IBM downsized, he was suddenly out of work in his 50s. He had a family, a mortgage, and a severance package, one that was meaningful, but that definitely wasn't going to last forever. He knew he couldn't afford to make a reckless bet. And one day his wife asked him, she said, "Honey, I want you to clean out the garbage bins." So he walks outside, he looks inside these things, sees the gunk and says, "Absolutely not." So he does what any diligent husband would do in the situation. He got online and searched for someone else that he could pay to come do it. He actually found a guy a few hours south of him that had created this $100,000 specialized truck. It was like a mobile car wash for garbage bins. But as he talked to this guy said, "There's no way I'm driving 2 hours north to come do a $10 or $15 service for you." But Spiro wondered, hey man, if I hate this, maybe other people do too. So he channeled the skills he had gained as a father of a Girl Scout. He grabbed a clipboard and he headed to his local grocery store. And he sat outside the grocery store and just asked people as they came out, "Hey, if someone came to your house and cleaned your bins for $10 a month, would you sign up?" Well, within a week of doing this, Spiro had 60 people that had signed up ready to pay. And that was enough proof for him to call this guy back and commission him to build one of these $100,000 trucks for him. Now today, Spiro isn't just cleaning bins. He actually runs a fleet of these trucks. They serve thousands of homes. They even landed a contract with an entire city. I think he has 7,000 residents of one city that he serves through a city contract. And it all started with a simple test of whether the customers actually wanted this new service that he was contemplating offering. And finally, the last of the stories I want to share with you is that of Eric Torres Garcia. Now, Eric was not long out of college, so he did not have savings at the time. He was actually sleeping on a friend's couch. I think he told me he had about 20 bucks to his name. But he had spent some time overseas in an internship with a company called Kinder. You probably have seen that if you've been to the grocery store. You might have seen a Kinder Bueno bar, or maybe you're familiar with the Kinder eggs. Those are those hollowed out chocolate eggs. My kids love them. They have little toys on the inside. And he came back with this fascination of what they were doing in Europe in terms of the things they were putting chocolate in. He shared with me they had even huge ones that had entire bottles of wine that were in them. So he's back in the States and he's trying to figure out what he would do with this. And the inspiration comes to him one day when he walks by a bath bomb in a store. And all of a sudden he thinks, what if I could drop some marshmallows into a hollowed chocolate ball? Right? And what if when I drop that ball in some hot milk, boom, over the next minute, it turns into a cup of hot cocoa in a really cool and novel way. And so he gets passionate about this and he goes to the grocery store, he cobbles together this prototype and he films this video on his iPhone and he posts it online. And that was it. No company, no packaging, no factory, just one random homemade cocoa bomb here. He got a fair amount of interest, actually. People were putting comments on there asking, where could we get one of these things? And so he took it down pretty quickly because he realized he didn't have any way to channel any of this excitement or the questions. So he decided the next weekend he was going to spend building a website. And so he signed up for a 2-week free trial on Shopify. He mocked up some products in a design studio, posted a few flavors that didn't actually exist, and connected all this to a merchant account. And then he relaunched this video with a link to the site, and he went to dinner. By the way, this video is epic. It's set to Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, which might be the most overdone Christmas song of all time. So he drops this video on TikTok, right? And this is pretty new in TikTok's days. But pretty soon, his phone, when he's at dinner, starts pinging every 15 seconds. And what they were these notices from Shopify that he had made another sale. So he gets done with dinner and he decides, I've got to shut down the site. And you may be asking, why on earth, Eric, would you shut down the site? You're actually selling these products. That's because he realized when he got home and looked up the numbers, he had sold $8,000 in orders that he had no idea how to fill. And so Eric's next few weeks were a blur. His mom helped him. His local church helped him. A college professor he had worked with helped him. He even got introduced to a local candy store owner that became a really great mentor for him. And in about a 6-week span, he cobbled together the orders to fulfill what he had sold, these $8,000, and launch his company. Now, today, that company does over $1 million in revenue. And Eric's products are distributed nationwide in all sorts of grocery stores. He's actually, last time I talked to him, expanding into sort of spice bombs that can be put in meat dishes. But 3 different people, 3 different tests. Robin tested whether she would enjoy the lifestyle change that the business represented. Spiro tested whether a new service that no one really knew existed would be accepted in his community. And Eric tested whether someone would pay for a product he had invented. And the lesson to me is this: testing doesn't always look the same. It doesn't have to. Sometimes it's shadowing a business before you buy it. Sometimes it may be asking potential customers direct questions to understand where their heads are at. Other times it might be asking people to actually hand over money to validate that there's an actual business here to pursue. But whatever form it takes, testing lowers the risk. It can turn your dream from a gamble into an informed decision. And if you're serious about starting a business, that's the kind of confidence you want on your side. So don't quit your daydream. Cheers. Till next time.